It seems that this season has been overshadowed by the rise of two young Dutch footballers in Frenkie de Jong and MATTHIJS de Ligt. Both together achieved incredible, immense feats with Ajax, winning the Eredivisie and the Dutch Cup, whilst reaching the semi-finals of both the Champions and UEFA Nations League. Many fans had the idea that both players would be ending up in the same place because, well, a move was expected certainly after that brilliant season. You gotta go somewhere else. Barcelona seemed to be one of the most desirable destinations for both of them. However, a series of negotiations and interest from other clubs led them to be astray from one another, as on the 18th of July, Juventus announced that they would be signing one of the biggest defensive talents for the next 5 years. The media has wasted no time into start pitching one against the other, as by coincidence or maybe not, as each of the Dutch players is set to join one of the kings of football, Lionel Messi for Frenkie de Jong and Cristiano Ronaldo for MATTHIJS de Ligt. With this in mind, I've decided to take this contest into my own hands, but do not expect meaningless discussion. No, absolutely no. In this video, we're going to be breaking down every single aspect of their transfer, financial-wise as much as sporting, to ultimately determine which player will prove to be a better signing for their respective club. And if you are wondering, how can a comparison be made between a midfielder and a center back? Well, we got you covered as well on that one. Please, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to show your appreciation by giving us a like rating. I put a lot of work into this video, so I want to see whether it pays off or not. And last but not least, if you fancy what you've seen here, be sure to subscribe for more content just like this one. You know the drill, you get the deal, so let's get right into it. And before we start off this video, be sure to check out our friends at GoLazo. Links are going to be in the description down below. They offer many benefits like having Barcelona's newest jersey, pretty cool. Needless to say, they're not authentic kits, but their aim is to make supporting your favorite club more accessible than ever. So as we've previously mentioned before, very briefly, the 19-year-old MATTHIJS de Ligt signed his new contract with the Torino-based side on the 18th of July. His transfer was worth 85.5 million euros, whilst his value was set at 75 million. Therefore, you could say that Juventus had to overpay for around 50 million euros. This can be down to the age of de Ligt, 2 years younger than de Jong, of course, and also in my opinion, I think that MATTHIJS de Ligt has a little bit more of a media cachet, a little more of presence there than Frenkie. There is no simple way to measure any of this, but from my personal experience, when I've talked to people about de Jong, they go like, yeah, he's good, he's okay, good signing for Barcelona. But when we mention de Ligt and he enters the conversation, everyone starts pointing out to his goals against Juventus and how he will storm the world of football, being very young, the youngest captain, how big he is, all of stuff like that, which the media generally likes to feed on. Which I guess it's okay because de Ligt's feats really extend much more than his defensive perspective, kind of like someone like Sergio Ramos. With that being said, Frenkie de Jong's signature for Barcelona was completed for 75 million euros on the 23rd of January, and his value at that moment was and still is 85 million euros, indicating that unlike de Ligt and Juventus, Barcelona managed to pay under his value to obtain the center midfielder. Many factors have influenced this, probably such as mentioned before, the media presence of the player, but also the fact that the transfer fee can rise up to 86 million euros through bonuses, and that's a very big key that you gotta keep an eye on. In terms of wages, Frenkie de Jong really pockets a slightly higher wage at 16 million euros, even though 10 million of those are net, meaning that won't change no matter what. That's what he's going to earn, with 6 more in bonuses based on titles won and sporting performances such as games played. On the other hand, the league wages were even more difficult to find. I didn't really find anything. It's possible that Juventus has disclosed these figures. However, it is rumored that the center back earns 40 million euros per year, with 2 million less than de Jong. And even though we don't know if these are net or including any bonuses, it's still a pretty large amount. Taking all which has been formally mentioned into account, I believe that financially both investments are pretty much equal. Firstly, for Barcelona and Juventus, they didn't have any urgency to sign any of these two players. That's why we haven't seen an overly strict Ajax when it comes to negotiations. To put things into perspective, I want to point out what's happening like literally today. Harry Maguire's apparent transfer to Manchester United. Everyone and their cat knows that United need a center back, and Leicester City as a result are taking advantage of them with ease, really like imperatively. They are destroying Manchester United. Solskjaer's team has just agreed a transfer of around, 90 million euros as we speak, and you see the difference. Ajax, of course, they have a simple transfer strategy, and they knew that since both players were such sought-out talents, their price would be set no matter what, and anyone that wanted to buy them would have to pay it. Not because of urgency, but because of the sheer luxury of any club obtaining such pungent talents. Therefore, when it comes to the transfer fees, I don't really see any investment being superior or lesser than the other. Furthermore, this players' transfer saga wasn't just driven by the transfer fees. It was more driven by the wages and one more important thing, securing guaranteed playtime. De Jong and the LIGT are not stupid, like literally they're not stupid, and they know that they must join a club where they knew that they would at least play 70% of the games as a starter. Ultimately, if you ask me, this is the reason that cost Barcelona signing the LIGT, because he opted to go to Juventus because simply the proposition of the Italians was just way better than anything Oscules could have offered him. Having said that, as we are unable to find the direct spread of the LIGT's earnings, I have to conclude that between his wages and those of De Jong, there can't be a clear distinction, reinforcing my idea that both investments made by Juventus and Barcelona have the same risk as one another. Not one is superior, and like I said before, not one is lesser. Moving on now to the more sporting side of things, I would like to start this section of the debate by seeing how good is Matthijs de Ligt compared to other center backs of a similar profile. To that end, the list of players which I've selected to compare de Ligt against today are Dayot Upamecano from RB Leipzig, Ruben Dias from Benfica, and Gianluca Mancini from Atalanta. I selected this pool of 3 players based on age, but mostly importantly, stage in their career. All of these players are prepared to advance to a new step in their basically life as a footballer, with some already gotten the move they would have wanted while others still waiting on it. Saying that, let's go to the stats and let's see if the LIGT is actually as good as we point him out to be. Comparing Matthijs de Ligt 1.5 tackles per 90 against the other subjects, I gotta say it compares relatively well. In terms of measuring his ability to read the game, the Ligt has managed 1.4 interceptions per 90, which isn't the best average compared against the other test subjects, but the overall, it's really good. Moving on to aerial duels won, the Ligt reigns supreme at 4.2 per game. A kid of 19 years old wins, are you telling me, 4.2 aerials per game? Wow, against the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, against the likes of, I don't know, other Luke De Jong, people like that, people who are towering. He wins? Incredible, insane. From this evidence gathered, I guess you could say that the Ligt is relatively superior against his opposition, excelling in individual aspects to his game, like headers, whilst never being below subpar, unlike Mancini, which for instance has a good score in terms of tackles but loses significantly when it comes to aerial battles. Moving on to the offensive side of things, the LIGT is second on the listing, performing 56.4 passes per 90 with an average success rate of 84.7, only beaten by, I think everyone's surprise, Ruben Dias with 58.3 passes per game and an 86.3 success rate. And finally, well, in terms of goals and assists, the league has managed a whopping 7 in all competitions with 1 assist, more particularly 3 in the Champions League. And this compares extremely well against the other candidates, as Mancini comes in second with 5 goals and 2 assists, and then Ruben Dias with 3 and 1, and lastly, Dayot Upamecano, unfortunately, with 0 in all fronts. So I guess that if you ask me to judge the LIGT in sporting reasons, I gotta say that, yeah, he does show a lot of promise and he's already an outstanding center back. The investment of Juventus is justified, and it does show that he can turn out to be a very, very good center back for the Vecchia Signoria, for the old lady. Moving on to Frenkie de Jong, I gotta say I was super eager to research this guy because I knew he was good, but I didn't know he was this good. The players I'll be comparing Frenkie de Jong to are Rodri Hernandez from Atletico Madrid / Manchester City, Fabian Ruiz from Napoli, and Adrien Rabiot, recently signed by Juventus on a free transfer. Starting off with the offensive stats for de Jong, which is a little bit more key, some people would argue. De Jong is just superhuman, surpassing everyone else in this list. Frenkie averages 82.8 passes per game with a success rate of 92.1, which is very good. In contrast to Rodri, he has also very good passing skills with 91.4 success rate, but a rather smaller sample at 56.4 passes per game. Next up, we have dribbles per game, and this is a stat very important for this type of DM because their role in their sides is that of progressing the ball. Frenkie is indisputably one of the best already, and funnily enough, De Jong's most prominent trait is not his passing. Even though the Catalan side takes that to a stat, the most important one, we all think that the thing that really stands out for Frenkie De Jong when it comes to his skill set is actually his dribbling. Only last season, Frenkie de Jong completed 54 out of 58 dribbles, which resulted in an unreal stat of 3.12 successful dribbles per 90. When we take a look at his overall career dribbling, it will stay at an incredible high 3.64 per game. And just as a side note, Lionel Messi, who is the best dribbler on the planet, sits at 3.42 per 90 with, well, a much larger sample in this case with an otherworldly 11.45 per game. Still being compared with Leo when it comes to dribbling is literally like a huge success in its own. What's even more encouraging in this is the fact that he does it everywhere on the field and with more or less the same result. Literally, like I don't need to compare him against Rodri, Rabiot or Ruiz because they don't even touch the toes of someone of Frenkie de Jong's stature in this aspect. Defensively, I gotta say the very same thing. Frenkie de Jong traits don't stop. What makes Frenkie de Jong such a complete player is the fact that his abilities on and off the ball are just immense. As much as he loves to drive forward, break the lines and take a crucial part in attacking play, his defensive abilities are equally as important and impressive. He averages a total of 3.56 interceptions, which in contrast to the 2017-2018 season, it was 1.1 per 90, so such a big improvement in the last year. In contrast to the rest, is equally as embarrassing as the dribbles per 90 because De Jong's reading of the game is on another level compared to Rabiot, Ruiz and Rodri, which for the most are touted to be one of the best ball dribblers in the world. And let's remember, of a similar age. Rabiot has 23, Ruiz has 22 and Rodri has 22 as well, like Frenkie. It's insane with the numbers of this guy. The fact is that it's so difficult to pinpoint Frenkie de Jong and to completely grasp everything that he does on the pitch makes for a great argument why he's already one of the best midfielders in the world. Master on and off the ball, creator, defender, attacker, you name it, he probably has done it already. What actually is more frightening for me is that he's only 21. Like I said, guys, 21, well now 22, which means that his prime is still far away from here. Managers love players who can play multiple positions, but at the moment, no one really compares to Frenkie de Jong. His numbers are unbelievable, therefore any sort of investment on him, be it the 25 all the way up to the 86 million euros, Buga, por favor, is a bargain. He should be worth at least 150 in my opinion, easily. So at the end, if you have to ask me which player will prove to be the better signing, I simply have to go with Frenkie de Jong. After doing this research, I just simply have to. The LIGT is an incredible player, yes, and we've seen it from this video, but perhaps not as much as we would have imagined. His numbers are nothing out of this world, while De Jong is literally fighting head-to-head with the king of football, Lionel Messi. Like, really, it's a fact. The LIGT is still 2 years older, I understand, and I'm eager to see how the LIGT develops and performs at 21, 22. But at this stage in his career though, financially wise, Barcelona has made even a better inversion than Juventus, one could say, as they paid less than the value that he's managed to save. Well, at this stage of money, you don't really have to save that much, by introducing bonuses and glosses to his wages. Frenkie de Jong's transfer is probably one of the best we've seen in a while, really, in the last few years. And in a market where everyone is overpaying, Barcelona managed to pay what the player actually is worth. Even though we all know that De Jong will probably be the best midfielder anytime soon. So hopefully guys you have enjoyed this video. Please remember to give us a like rating down below and tell me how to improve this. I'm once again apologizing for the length of this video. It's pretty long, but like there was a lot of analysis, comparisons, in-depth stats that we had to take a look at if we actually wanted to make a good video. You know, if I actually wanted to answer the question, who will be the better signing without just saying nonsense, well, I had to take my time. So hopefully you understand that. And well, now I leave you to your day, do whatever you want, go to the pool, take your cat for a walk. Who the freak takes cats for a walk? I have no idea, I don't have a cat. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care, ciao.